yourself in a new Toyota.
Imagine all the slopes you'll conquer.
Imagine all the sights you'll see. Ready, set, go get your Toyota today.
Toyota, let's go places.
Welcome to today's segment, where we will delve into a topic of vital importance to homeowners and communities across Arizona: the significance of house maintenance. Arizona, with its unique climate, stunning desert landscapes, and booming housing market, offers a distinctive environment for home ownership. However, these same features present unique challenges that make proper house maintenance not just beneficial, but essential. From the scorching summer heat and monsoon storms, to the impact of fluctuating real estate values and mortgage responsibilities, maintaining a home in Arizona requires both diligence and expertise. The benefits of regular maintenance are multifaceted. Not only does it protect the structural integrity and longevity of a property, but it also preserves its market value, ensuring a strong investment for homeowners. Moreover, proactive upkeep can prevent costly repairs, safeguard against environmental damages, and provide peace of mind. For homeowners navigating mortgages, it's also critical to keep a property in top condition to meet loan requirements and sustain equity. To help us explore this topic from different perspectives, we are joined by three distinguished guests: Wafa Musa, Ali Al-Asadi, Russ Browder. Together, we'll unpack the vital role of maintenance in enhancing the quality, value, and security of homes in Arizona. Stay with us for this important conversation. Let's get started. Thank you for joining us, Russ. How are you doing today?
I'm good.
What recommendations would you offer homeowners in Arizona regarding effective house maintenance, especially given the state's extreme weather fluctuations? What advice would you give prospective home buyers in Arizona? What key factors should they focus on when evaluating a property before purchase?
One of the first things I would look at, getting a basic home inspection done if you're purchasing a home. That will be fairly inclusive of the interior as well as the exterior. But what's not always included in a home inspection is going to be a pest inspection, which would be cover you on termites and various other invasive pests in Arizona. With that out of the way, you start looking at moving into the fall months of what you can do to maintain and increase your home value. And that starts with curb appeal, which is going to be stuff on the outside. The first thing that most people will look at is going to be paint. And I recommend shopping around before you do it and look at your own capabilities. If you're actually capable of doing the painting and that sort of thing, or the landscaping. Painting is not that difficult for most people. So there are several places such as Home Depot and Lowe's where you can acquire the paint and the tools to do it. Whereas landscaping is something that's a little more difficult. Now, most people, yes, they can dig a hole and plant a plant, but what you need to look at, and this is where Home Depot and Lowe's is not necessarily the best place to go to, is actually talk to someone from a nursery. What they have is more specialized knowledge, especially the plants that do well in Arizona, as well as what do those require for maintenance. Those are the people who, they have a lot more knowledge than the people at the big box stores have. Now, as far as paint goes, you can look at other paint suppliers. There are several out there. But the other option is looking at such as Angie's List or Google for someone who does professional painting. Those particular places, you have some that are much more reputable than others, and some that are not so much. So you definitely want to look at what their reviews are, as well as what other people are saying about them. From the summer months into the fall, my first response is now is a good time to start looking at the outside. As the months start cooling down, the weather starts cooling down, I start looking at painting and various parts of landscaping. Now is a good time to start looking at the pricing of the materials to do that sort of job, such as the paint itself and the various tools. But the other thing is you also need to look at what your capabilities are. Are you capable of doing the projects? Sometimes it's better to hire someone else to do it. My advice, if you cannot do the job and need to hire someone, then you need to look at multiple companies and get reviews on them. Now, if you can do it, that's when you start looking at stuff like where you get the materials, be it Home Depot, Lowe's, or another place. But the other thing is landscaping. If you're looking at doing landscaping, my recommendation is don't just look at Home Depot or Lowe's. There are a lot of nurseries out there, and the people who work at the nurseries tend to be a lot more knowledgeable about the plants and items you'll be using.
Ali Al-Asadi, a real estate professional who will discuss how maintenance impacts property values and the housing market. Welcome, Ali. How are you?
Very good. How are you doing?
What are your recommendations for homeowners to maintain their properties in Arizona, considering the extreme weather changes between winter and summer? In your view, what defines a healthy home? How important is proper ventilation in maintaining a healthy home, and what role does it play? Can you elaborate on how moisture levels can impact the health of a home? You previously mentioned certain certifications related to the Healthy Home program. Could you provide more details about these certifications and their key aspects?
Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure to be with you. It's extremely important. Let's go back to often like how we buy our home. We have to look at how we normally buy homes. Most of people think about location, location, location. They think about what's going to cost me, what is the mortgage payment. But often, very rarely, where the buyer will think like, okay, how does this home affect my health? My background is really in teaching, and my thinking is always, let's put the human element back into things. We'll focus on the healthy home. Healthy home, by definition, is a home that is designed, constructed, maintained, or rehabbed in a manner that prevent diseases from housing or housing-related injuries. And the way we do that is by paying attention to things that could be found in the home and things that could have negative impact on our health. It's estimated about 90% of your home that have at least 3 asthma trigger found in American home. And some of those asthma trigger could be mold, lead-based paint, and then chemical we bring into the house with things like cleaning product or decreasing agent and things like that. And then a lot of the other homes, like some of the homes they have, a lot of homes have the like formaldehyde, and that could be found in a lot of time in the cabinet and other things like they call it the off-gassing building material. Off-gassing building materials such as pressed wood, which is also found in cabinets. And these, they could also emit they call it also forever chemicals. So basically it could come for years that keep emitting all these chemical or toxin into the air. And then when you turn on the AC, that's pretty much distributed throughout the whole house. Unless there's a mechanical system that really take these toxins out of the home. So we can talk about ventilation is very essential to any building. In fact, in HVAC, that's the missing V. It's ventilation. We can have two types of ventilation. We can have passive ventilation and we can have mechanical ventilation. Passive ventilation could be as simple as operable window, and we use what the air buoyancy. Air buoyancy is basically a simple concept. We learn how the air moves inside the building or how it affected even from the outside. But inside the building, if we have like a small window and we open it, and then open a higher window that might be larger, and that basically what will do is the cold air is gonna push the hot air outside the building. So that's a passive system, and basically by having an operational window, and we can take the toxin outside of the home, and we constantly introducing fresh air into the building. When we say a house, it's our office. It's our house for 8 hours. Our home is our home for another 8 hours. And then when we travel, the car is our home also for another 3-4 hours. So when we say indoor air quality, we're referring to anything related to a building or in a confined area where there is no air movement in it. Moisture is the number one enemy of any building. In fact, it could have a ripple effect. It's a small leak can contribute to asthma trigger found in the home. And leak can lead to mold. Mold have also a negative impact. It's a living organism that continue to grow. Sometimes we can detect it by sense it or smell it. And sometimes it could be hidden. Sometimes it's visible. It could be, they call surface mold, or it could be hidden behind a wall or wallpapers. And people cannot detect it sometimes for years, and they don't understand where this musty smell coming from. So by maintaining the house, by detecting leaks, one of the areas, like non-visible areas behind the refrigerator, behind the dishwasher, or behind the washer and dryer. Because I don't know how many homeowners pull these out and check if the house have leak. I personally did remodel in my house, and we have very tiny leak from the water loop in the refrigerator, and then we end up, we found a small mold, and we treated it, and we cleaned it up, and we remodeled. There are a lot of technology emerging throughout the years. If you remember in the 80s, like a toilet used to use about, prior to 1980, a toilet used to use about 7 gallons of water per flush. And today we have sometimes you can find a toilet that takes about less than a gallon of water. So my point is really technology constantly evolving to improve occupant health and conserve water. For example, let's come back to the indoor air quality, there is something that's called ERV, or Energy Recovery Ventilator, ERV. And what ERV does is basically it's a system that could be attached to where the air return is, and that system constantly bringing fresh air into the building and then taking distilled air outside the building. And that's one of the way. Another one that builders using it today, which is essential, you see like health, energy efficiency, and maintenance all combine to improve occupant health. In today's building, technique, they build the house airtight. When the house is airtight, this is a small leak could be a perfect environment for the house for mold to grow inside the house. So this system, it's become essential that we constantly bring in fresh air and take in distilled air outside the building. A lot of builders also adopted another terms they call it is fresh air intake, which is pretty much the similar concept, but this one is less complicated or less expensive, where they constantly introducing fresh air into the system. The Department of Energy have a certification program. It's called a Net Zero Ready Home. A Net Zero Ready Home apply a lot of the energy efficiency plus the healthy home concept on their program. They have a rigorous checklist where the home builder have to follow to make the house a zero energy ready. And basically they imply a lot of techniques, including building orientation, insulation, mechanical system, smart technology, incorporate all that under this certification, and that's a net zero already. Department of Energy, the EPA, Environmental Protection Agency, have another program which called Energy Star. A home builder can participate in this program and also follow a rigorous checklist to improve occupant health. Once the builder gets that certification, they can move to another certification, which called Indoor Air Plus. And Indoor Air Plus is similar, rigorous checklist, but this one will focus more about protecting the occupant from contamination, even from things during construction. They might go to the extent where they cover the duct system, air returns, and things like that to improve occupant health. Locally, we have a Scottsdale Green Building Program, which is also adopted through their building code. So if you're building a new home in Scottsdale, so you can adopt this program. It's a voluntary program, and you can adopt that certification. Great example of that is called Optima. It's a great project around Camelback, and where the builder really spent almost a year just studying the plants, because they have those plants in their balconies. And their plants is basically, anytime you put plant, that's mean water. Water is mean salt, and that could affect the concrete in a negative way. It could soften it. The salt can soften the concrete. So they spent an entire year studying these plants and how does it impact the building. And they came up with this very cool program, system where the water will feed from one balcony to another until it reaches the ground, and then will irrigate whatever the landscaping is in that area. There are about 51 labeling programs, but this is some of them. Another one is it's called LEED, which stands for Leadership in Energy Environmental Design. It's through the U.S. Green Building Council. It's a very cool program that focuses on residential, school, high-rise and mid-rise building, and they also have a program for neighborhood, where the entire neighborhood would be green.
Wafa Musa, who will explain the financial implications of maintenance on mortgages and home equity. Thank you for being here, Wafa. What advice would you give to prospective home buyers regarding maintenance considerations when purchasing a property?
My name is Wafa Musa. I am from Home Smart, originally from Jordan. I been in Phoenix, Arizona for 15 years. Being being in Home Smart for 4 years, and before that I was an investor for about 8 years. Yes, my advice to all buyers is to do a full inspection. no house, it's going to be all houses has defects. So qualified inspectors will find all the defects in the home, and based on those defects, it is the right house to purchase or not. So is it also depends on the area? Is it the area? Is it going to improve next year? Some areas in Phoenix area, I see a hot market. Based on the comfort report, I see a hot market in Phoenix. In 2024, we have a lot of companies. It's going to come to Peoria. If the camera can see what I'm pointing, Peoria, it's going to be one of the hot area next year to purchase. Also, Connect Homes, it's purchasing 147,000 square feet land to build on Mesa, in Mesa. DSV also building in Mesa. Outer Spatial building in Avondale. Pottstown building Glendale. So all these hot towns to purchase. And well, I see Chandler also, one of the most hottest market in Phoenix. Gilbert also a hottest market in Phoenix. Also, I want to mention Microsoft pays $258 million to purchase in El Mirage. That contribute a lot of employers, a lot of business to Phoenix area. That's what I feel like Phoenix market is going to be the hottest market next year.
From your perspective, what are the consequences of rising interest rates on home prices in Arizona? And when might we expect this upward trend to stabilize? Could you explain the governmental and Federal Reserve measures aimed at increasing interest rates and how these actions are designed to manage housing price inflation? How has the rapid increase in home prices affected the real estate and mortgage industries in Arizona?
I've been in Phoenix for about 15 years, but I never seen a high demand like we seen today in Arizona. The reason why it's Arizona, it's climate friendly. The reason why we see a high demand in Phoenix because Phoenix is climate friendly. Although also the interest rate is going up. Related to the global economy. So when we see also the key factor of the market, it's unemployment. If the employment rate dropped or low, interest rate will go up. So it's you mentioned about why its mortgage rates up. It's economic. It's related to the economy. I am not an economist, although I have seen all the factors related to mortgage rate indicate that mortgage will increase this year based on the Federal Reserves. What factors makes it up and low? It's all economy. We cannot predict it. It's all economy. And we're fighting. After COVID-19, the government pushed a lot of money in the market. Now we're fighting inflation. In order for the banks to make money, we have to raise the interest rate. And also we're seeing a healthy market. I've been working with the investors. I work with the buyers. I see a healthy economy. If employment rate it goes down, interest rate goes up. About 25 years ago, in the 1980, the interest rate was 15, and people still buying and selling. So it's based on economy. We have no prediction what's going to happen next year. But the Federal Reserve have a massive debts. We cannot lower the interest rate. If we're going to lower it, I believe it's not going to lower than 6%. Whereas I am seeing now, today's market, it's at 7% interest rate. In few months, it could drop to 6%, which is I see it's a healthy market. Are we going to see 5? We're going to see 5 and 4s and 3s? I don't think so. I mean, when the interest rate drops, banks lose money. I see slow market for buyers, but I see also a healthy market for sellers. Is it the right time to sell? Yes, a lot. So if the interest rates goes up, the value of homes, the loan value of homes goes down. We are seeing median income. A lot of median income will not be able to qualify for 300s and 400s anymore. So that's how it affects them. So the dream homes, they will not reach their dream homes because of the interest rate.
Love lower than low prices? Get more ways to save at Fry's, where you can find personalized coupons, weekly deals, and rewards like on food that's fresher than fresh.